Agile retrospectives are at the heart of team learning and improvement. I co-wrote a book about it, and today I'm going to give you the highlights. What they are, why they matter, and how to structure a retrospective in a way that will help teams think, learn, and decide together. So Agile retrospectives are special meetings that take place at the end of a period of work. It could be a Pomodoro, could be an ensemble session, could be an iteration or a release, any period of time. Now, in a retrospective, the team steps back to examine the way they've been working. They look at data, they see patterns and influencing factors, and then they come up with potential experiments, actions, new things to learn. And they choose one, maybe two, to focus on. So the team is taking ownership of their own ways of working and their own learning. But too many retrospectives fail to deliver meaningful or sometimes even any results. So too often they are boring, they're painful, and they feel like a waste of time. Why does this happen? It could be a lack of focus or a lack of participation. It could be that the team doesn't gain any real insights, or there's no buy-in for what they kind of vote on in a rote sort of way. It could be that they choose some improvement, but they don't get around to acting on it. But it doesn't have to be that way. So I want to share this flexible framework to improve retrospectives. It's based on how people think and helping teams think clearly together. There's 5 parts to this framework. 1, set the stage so people are ready to participate. 2, gather data so people are working from the same set of facts. 3, generate insights about the situation and what they might do to change it. 4, decide what to do. And 5, close the retrospective. Here's what happens in each part. In set the stage, you establish the focus for this particular retrospective. You share the agenda so that people know there's a plan to make good use of their time. If the team is new to this sort of work, it's a good idea to establish some working agreements about just how people are going to work in this session. Or if you already have working agreements, you can repurpose them so that they'll fit this meeting. Help people set their concerns aside for now and get every voice into the room. Then you're ready to gather data. Now, data follows focus. Depending on what you're focusing on, you may need different sorts of information. You may need objective data, facts and figures, or you might examine subjective data, concerns, perspectives, perceptions on things. There's a link in the description to a blog post on using data in problem solving, which will say a lot more about that. Now, data grounds the retrospective. The important thing is to create a shared pool of data and get it out there so that people can examine it, because otherwise everyone is working from their own set of facts and their own opinions. Once you have data, you can generate insights. Understand systemic influences, root causes, patterns. But don't stop with your first ideas about the issue. Come up with at least 3 possible influences or causes, and then generate at least 3 candidate actions. Those actions might be experiments, proposed improvements, something the team needs to learn. It might be about investigating something through reading or talking to an expert. But it's important to have at least 3 because that will help you understand the problem more deeply. It helps you move beyond habitual thinking. So once you have some potential causes and some potential candidate actions, you can choose. So decide what to do. Move from discussion to action. And keep it to 1 or 2 because you don't want the team to be overwhelmed. But decide on something. Try something. Learn something. Even if you decide that sitting with the insight is sufficient for now, if you had a really great insight in the retrospective, that's okay, but decide. It's far better to choose something tiny and actually do it than to choose something big and not follow through. I like to choose what the team has energy for, not what's most important. It's more likely to get done. Then close the retrospective by summarizing the actions and the follow-up, appreciate contributions, and do a tiny retrospective on the retrospective so you can make the next one even better. Some people worry that these steps will take too long, but leaving out a step undermines the effectiveness of the retrospective. If you leave out set the stage, you get Brownian motion. Everybody's kind of doing their own thing. There's no common focus. Everyone's thinking about their own perceptions of things. Or you spend half your time trying to figure out what you'll talk about. If you skip gathering data, the retrospective is ungrounded, and everyone's working from their own set of facts and opinions. It will be much harder to understand the situation in a holistic way, and much harder to reach consensus and ownership for an action. If you leave out generating insights, you'll get the same old thinking and the same old non-solutions. You'll be stuck in habitual thinking. If you skip decide what to do, then really what's the point? Even if you choose to do nothing for now, choose. Otherwise, the energy just dribbles away. Skip closing the retrospective, and you lose an opportunity to appreciate people and get better at doing retrospectives. So that's it, 5 stages. Now, some retrospectives start in the middle by asking the group to list what they did well and what they would do differently. These retrospectives usually are not particularly effective, and they're often very superficial. What did we do well is a question that asks about insights in the absence of data. So people are just given an opinion. What should we do differently is a question that asks for a conclusion without data or analysis. So they just tend to skim the surface. So don't skip a step and don't shortchange the retro. Half an hour may not be enough time to get beneath the surface of many problems. But if you're doing retrospectives frequently, like every day or even multiple times a day, then you can get a lot out of a really short retrospective, less than half an hour. And it's still useful to step back and look at a longer period of time and get a broader view when there's a good time to do it, at the end of an iteration or a release. Every retrospective should be unique, so choose a topic that's relevant to what's going on now. Identify data that will help the team sort through that issue, and select activities that will enable all members to participate and think and learn and decide together. Novel thinking is what you're after, not novelty or fun, though I am a fan of fun. Choose activities that make it easier for everyone to participate, that will help them think. If you always use the same focus and activities, you'll end up with the same thoughts and the same actions. You'll be in a rut, so switch it up. Remember that retrospectives can't fix everything. They aren't the place for individual performance feedback. They aren't the answer for inadequate technical or collaboration practices, although many teams have improved both as a result of disciplined reflection and learning. They may not correct faulty mental models about how software development works or about how organizations work. Some of these issues require something else. They may require feedback or coaching or training or deeper learning. But retrospectives do help teams learn and decide and get better together. They carve out time for teams to consider ways to redesign their work and their team culture. They help teams learn and improve, and over time, they can help good teams become great teams. If you want to learn more, pick up a copy of the book, Agile Retrospectives, or sign up for my online course, which I offer a couple times a year. There are links for these, plus the article on using data in the description. If you enjoyed this video, leave me a comment. I'd love to hear what you found valuable and what you'd like to hear about next, if there's another topic you'd like me to make a video for.